You Speak Your Brains, right? For those who don't know, this is a series where I find I basically just share stupid comments that have been aimed at me across my content over the last few months. I pick out the best, the ones that aren't just you're a fat bald moron or whatever, and then basically share them with you so you can get a window into what it's like to be me, because people do say unbelievably stupid stuff. I'll try and give you context where I can for where the comments come from, assuming I remember it. Let's just start with this one. I did a video on Macron. Well, it wasn't really about Macron, but it was sort of about Macron. It was mostly about Macron. Macron had basically said that video games were to blame for the riots in Paris, which is in itself a you speak your brains moment. I mean, it's a ridiculous, nonsense that it deflects from the reality that's been going on in France under the Macron regime, which is, at the end of the day, the people in France have always had a respect for robust labour laws and working conditions, and they do expect for their taxes some sort of reward from the state. They want a relatively early retirement so they can enjoy it and drink some wine down at a vineyard and enjoy the sun. You work all your life, you get a little bit back at the end. In America and Britain, we're eroding that. We don't care. You work until you drop. It's actually interesting. We're getting to a stage now where life expectancy is trending down while retirement age is trending up simultaneously in the US and the UK. So in other words, fuck you. You put into a Ponzi scheme all your life, and then when it comes to take the money out and enjoy a little bit of it, nah, you're not having that. You won't be having that. Sorry, we're putting the retirement age up. So there was that. Obviously, we've had, the police are out of control in France. We've seen that. We've had yellow vest protests about the disparity of wealth in France. We've had that. So it's a culmination of all of these things. It's got fuck all to do with Grand Theft Auto. But anyway, I did a video about it, and I said, I think French police and maybe Macron himself have said some racist stuff. And then this guy came in, quick as a flash. Here he is. You're every bit as racist, Lewis. So immediately he's made a definitive statement. You're like, well, he's obviously going to have some evidence as to why I'm racist. So I said, why would that be? Right? It's a reasonable question. Do you have any proof? He came back with this. Well, you dismiss anyone with a different opinions as gammons for a start. Oh, and I have a different opinion to you, so that makes me a weirdo. As long as we're throwing around epithets, I think he means epithets. I've got one for you, narcissist. And what his postulation was that gammon is a racist term. Now, where does the term gammon come from? Gammon is what you call those red-faced morons that have ridiculous opinions, breakfast means breakfast, and they say stupid stuff about immigrants, and they're a particular type of person and a particular type of opinion, right? Now, because typically the reason they're called gammons is that if you were to look at their face and their it goes red. It's you see, not a lot of people know what gammon is. Gammon is like a salted ham that we like. It's a big, thick, delicious, juicy salted ham that you eat in the UK because, people say our food's whack, but then it turns out we do have some ball of shit no one knows about. We're keeping secret. It's a medieval thing. So it's like if you slice into gammon. In fact, I can give you an example of this. So this is when you do your AI clicks, you have to say which window has the gammon in it. Here it is, see? There they are. That's why, and you can see, particularly with the top left, you can see the example of the flesh tone that we're going for with the gammon, right? So there you go, and that's the gammon, right? Now, like a lot of words, it has multiple meanings. Now, yes, a gammon is someone typically from middle-class Britain, typically white, obviously. But really, when we talk about gammon opinions, we are talking about the kind of, the kind of person in Britain that is deluded into thinking they are in the 1%. Very often we're talking about middle-class people that have got a little bit of wealth, a little bit of affluence, and they think they're connected to actual generational wealth, and therefore say ridiculous things, like fuck the workers that are on strike, and fuck immigrants, and, you know, fuck this and fuck that, because it's affecting me. And it's like, no, you're just a red-faced moron. It really doesn't affect you in any way, shape, or form. You know, yeah, them Euros, them Europeans are taking away our rights. Got any examples? That's a Gammon, right? So it's not a race thing. I pointed that out to him, but he didn't like that. I told him it's objectively not a racist term, as it's about the opinions held by the individual and not their race. And he said, rubbish. I'm thinking I hit him right in the gammon. Who uses the word rubbish other than a gammon? Rubbish, he said. Rubbish. You're obviously linking the race and opinion by the mere use of the term and the image it conveys. And in my opinion, you know that. I don't believe you're dumb, just racist. And then I said, you might want to get off the internet because you're starting to look certifiable. So that was my encounter in the wild with a feral gammon. What else? You probably heard about the Overwatch League collapsing, and I've done a lot of content around that. Quite deliberately, you might say, milking it for all it's worth, I believe is the phrase the kids use. And so I did a written article, I did a stream, I did an episode of the Four Horsemen, and an episode of the Esports Gospel. All different tones and tenors and focusing on different things, I might add. But anyway, from the Four Horsemen episode we did, right, I talked a lot about how at the start of the, inception of the league, they drove out good owners from esports and said, you can't have a piece of this. It's silly rabbit, tricks are for kids, and they basically said that and told all of the endemic esports people that this project was too good and too expensive and too vast for you to be involved. And so they went out to all of these sports groups and all of Bobby Kotick's buddies and all these VC groups and said, do you want a piece of this? It's just for you. And in the end, they couldn't sell it all, so then they came back to the esports people. And one of those people they really fucked off at the start, which I thought was bizarre, because Rick Fox had solid VC backing at the time before that relationship soured, was Rick Fox. And I pointed this out. Now, I saw an incredible comment. This is one of the most stupefyingly ill-informed comments I have ever seen made on the internet. And the fact that it was made with such confidence, and then I replied to it, and then it was instantly deleted. It's like, this is what I mean when I say these people walk among us. And like, it's up to you. Like, you can not engage, but some things are so batshit crazy, you have to correct them. So here we go, right? Get a load of this one. You know that Rick Fox and his partners sued each other over fraud, and Echo Fox shareholders fired racism lawsuit against him, right? So this is about the story that is suspiciously off the internet now, isn't it? About how his partner had used racial epithets in communications about Rick Fox, and that got public, and then basically, it cost them an LCS slot and other various things, and ultimately led to the dissolution of Echo Fox. But it wasn't Rick Fox that was being sued. It was the other way around. It was Rick Fox doing the suing. It goes on. It wasn't the Overwatch League or League. It was the internal mess which kissed Echo Fox. And also under Rick Fox, there was the huge sexual assault scandal at Fox News, where several announcers were sexual harassed at his company. So this guy believes Rick Fox, basketball player, is the head of Fox News. Mr. Rick Fox News, guys. And it's not a troll. It's definitely not a troll. I promise you. This was deleted immediately after I said, do you think Rick Fox runs Fox News? Like, he's there. He's been playing basketball. He's doing some acting. He goes, you know what I need now? I need to run my own news company. One that already existed, before I had sort of any social prominence. But you know what I'll do? I'll put my motherfucking name on it, like it's the George Foreman grill. He's put his motherfucking name on his news, like, that's, you know, that's like me, Ricky Lou News, like, it's just so ridiculous. And the guy, he believes that. And also, like, there was a bit of a sex scandal at Fox. It's Roger Ailes. It's not even close. Like, it's not even close to Rick Fox. I don't even understand how that can happen. And then he also says same thing happened under him at the Lakers. Well, he's never been the head coach of the Lakers. He did play for the Lakers. But I don't know. What? Maybe there was there a sex scandal? I googled it. I couldn't find a sex scandal at the LA Lakers, but maybe I missed something. So I don't know. This is all over the place. This is like a stat. Oh, he's mixed him up with Kobe Bryant. Yeah, rest in peace. So and then he wraps up. Right. So keep in mind, he is so stupefyingly wrong on all fronts about who Rick Fox is, what happened to Rick Fox in esports, who runs Fox News, who runs the LA Lakers. I mean, he's all over the road factually. And he said, so, in conclusion, it was more of an internal explosion and several major sponsors, even NBA, didn't want to touch him for a while, which is why Rick Fox used to regularly appear on Inside the NBA, commentating on the games and doing analysis. So there you go. I mean, that's a special one. That is a special comment. One of the all-time greats for me. Obviously, you see, every time I get stupid comments, it's when I've, like, kicked a hornet's nest by, like, you know, when I say kicked a hornet's nest, I mean I have talked about something that just has a bunch of, like, educationally subnormal people that are interested in it. So talking about skins is always going to bring out some lunatics. I had one comment. So I did a video recently about two skin sites, you know, kind of going to war with each other and engaging in, like, you know, sort of corporate sabotage and various other things. The person that left this comment doesn't understand the difference between commentary and, but he just doesn't know what commentary is, actually. There's not even a comparison. Here it is. This is the video, right? Empire versus CSGO role. This guy comes in, pathetic lies, making up stuff so you don't have to pay out / scam your customers. Don't forget that karma will always get back to you one way or another. Also funny to see how many people fall for your stories. Sheeps. Now, what he's done there is he thinks I'm CSGO Empire, I think. I think he thinks I'm CSGO Empire. You sheeps. When will you learn? And so I said to him, like, what customers don't I pay out? Who am I scamming? And again, he just deleted it. He was like, oh, yeah, sorry, I'm just fucked in the feed, aren't I? Like, my head's just gone. But yeah, obviously, I do want to make it clear I don't run a skins website. You're never going to see. Although if I did run one, I would buy CS Goatsy, obviously. I would 100% have that. That is a real skins website. I would buy that. And let me tell you, I would get all the graphics done so the skins come out of the stretch, and it would every time there was a payout, it'd be fucking glorious. So just to make it abundantly clear, I don't run a skins website. Never have. There is no CSGO Richie, CSGO Louis. I don't like skins. I think I sold all of mine. I just don't even give a fuck about them. They're dirty and awful, and they've been given a free pass while we're focusing on, like, loot crates and battle passes and other deceptive practices. Everyone's just forgotten about how skins are essentially one of the original progenitors of all of these problems. But yeah, I'm guessing this chap is new and doesn't know my history in, you know, of all the people to accuse of being a scammer. Oh, yeah, it's the guy who did all that reporting about the scams between 2016 and 2018. Yeah, it's that. I'm the guy. It was me all along, Austin. Me all along. Oh, yeah, we can go back to the Macron video for a moment. So part of that video, right, was detailing why the riots started in France. Sorry, this fun stream gets a little bit serious here, so just brace yourself. But anyway, the reason was there was a second-generation immigrant teenager who was at a traffic stop, and he was shot in the chest once by police, fatally shot, and that was what led to the new wave of riots in France. And the police originally reported this as being he refused to stop, he put our lives in danger, we shot him. And then what ended up happening was, and this is on Wikipedia, this is the official version of events, no one's disputing this apart from the guy we're going to get to. What actually happened was an eyewitness saw that they had their gun in the window and that they were hitting his arms and hitting him in the chest with like the butt of their guns to try and get him to like release the wheel. And as they did that, the car jerked forward, so they shot him. An eyewitness said that. Video footage came out that corroborates that version. And equally as well, their lives weren't in danger. They were on the other side of the car. They were not in front. The car couldn't have possibly hit them. They'd essentially lied on their official incident forms, which is a problem, right? So that's on the Wikipedia page. And so I brought that up. And as I've said, there's one thing you can always do. If and that is you can rely on people that are like concerned trolls a little bit, but they just want to say, hey, well, why didn't he just comply? And there's two types of why didn't he just comply. There is basically the sort of bootlicker, why didn't he just comply? And then there's the covert racist, why didn't he just comply? Because remember, obviously, typically at these fatal traffic stops, we are talking about racial minorities. So anyway, here we are. This was one of the ones where a chap got very upset with me over, I don't know, reading a Wikipedia entry. Rich, did you know, and this is like, he initially starts as like an appeal, like, Rich, did you know that kid tried to run over a policeman? There was a threat to life, therefore he was shot. It's as simple as that. Maybe educate immigrants. Keep in mind, the chap was second generation. By second generation immigrant, which is ridiculous. We do mean French national. Maybe educate immigrants that you can't endanger someone else's life in the Western world and expect to get away with it. Uh-oh. That sounds a bit racist there, mate. Let's have a look. Why do people defend people who just cannot simply comply with the police? It's such a simple thing to do. It's actually insane. I'm not saying the police are innocent. Okay, then, we agree. But in that specific case, that kid has free will. Remember, he acknowledges he's a kid as well. He was 17. The kid has free will. Just get out the car if you're innocent. Why try to kill someone by running? And then he says, by running them over. I've seen the video and you're lying. This is my reply. You might want to ask yourself why that is. In reality, the teenager was hit with the butt of a gun, prompting him to cause the car to lurch forward. The police were in no danger and they shot post-blank range in the chest. They then lied about what happened in their incident report. I'm lying, says the concerned troll. So every news outlet is lying when they say he failed to stop when told to. Of course, in the video, the car is stopped. So, I don't know, maybe he did stop the car. The car was stationary when he got shot. So, I don't know, maybe we can figure something out there. Tell me, Rich, why can't the kid just comply in the first place? Wouldn't you just stop without a problem if you had nothing to hide? Of course, I'm not leading a life of teenage delinquency anymore because I'm not a teenager and I don't know enough about the circumstances around this kid's life to make any broad denominations other than to say, I don't think a bit of joyriding should get you murdered. And, you know, if there's a genuine risk of life, fair enough. Maybe a difficult choice has to be made. I think being in a stationary car surrounded by armed police, I think if you can't arrest a 17-year-old at that point without killing them, probably some questions do need to be raised. But anyway, you're completely ignoring the fact he failed to stop. He puts it in block capitals. Car was stationary, of course. And then continued to refuse to comply. Also, I'd love to see the footage of him being hit by the butt of a gun. I've literally not seen that part. Oh, so you didn't watch the videos then or read about the eyewitness reports where somebody said they would be happy to testify in court to that effect. Also, he had previously been cited for driving without a license. Ooh, these criminals. Driving without a license. Well, glad we got that perp off the streets. Eh? He'd been cited for driving without a license. He was too young to have one. And for refusing to comply with an order to stop. He brings that up again. Seems like a very well-behaved, young, upstanding citizen, doesn't it? So I said, if you can't, I'll link him to the Wikipedia page where you can go and look this up just to make sure I'm not bamboozling you because I am a shit lib. So, everybody knows I'm lefty scum. So you can go and check that out for yourselves. And I said, if you can't be bothered to do the most basic of research into what actually happened, just admit what you want to express the opinion you are expressing. Just say it out loud instead of trying to rationalize it, because obviously what he wants to say is he's glad this person got shot because he sees them as an other. That's where we're getting to. So no, he doesn't want to come along for the ride first. I said, imagine making the argument that because someone drove without a license, they deserve to be fatally shot. He said, still failing to acknowledge the facts. He's too young to have been driving legally in France. He's failed to comply with the police stop prior. Again, remember, the car is stationary, so he hasn't failed to comply at all. And put another person's life in danger. No discernible. The only people even around the car at the time are the police with guns, and the car is stationary. Just answer my question instead of ignoring me. If you have done nothing wrong, why refuse to comply with police? All I want to do is become a smarter person. So explain to me the next time I'm stopped by police, why should I ignore them? Rich, I don't think you're an idiot, so I'm very curious to what I believe a smart person is going to say in response to that question. You're not going to answer it because I know you literally can't justify it. So I said he had stopped. According to eyewitnesses, the police beat him, causing the car to lurch forward. Then they shot him. It's literally there. Why not just say what you really want to say? You obviously approve of the police's actions in this case, so just say why. He goes on. He was shown lights, refused to stop. I mean, again, I just don't understand how you can make an argument that he's refusing to stop when the car is literally stopped. It's so ridiculous. Or maybe didn't see these extremely bright flashing lights somehow. He came to traffic and then the unfortunate situation unfolded. He can't keep driving if the traffic in front of them is stopping him from doing so, can he? And isn't it just really funny how it's happened before too? And isn't it really funny he's breaking the law by driving in the first place? Also, it states on Wikipedia, he released the brake pedal, causing the vehicle to move forward. Yeah, after being hit with the butt of a gun. Crucial little detail. I cannot help but notice you've missed out. If he had stopped, he had, past tense, put the automatic gearbox into park and then engaged the handbrake. Oh, wait, he doesn't have a driving license, therefore doesn't know how to do so. So he's totally innocent. I mean, him not knowing how to stop a vehicle would be a pretty good defense for not stopping the vehicle, in my opinion. However, he did stop the vehicle. He knew that much. Another example of Richard Lewis completely failing to use his brain. I'm assuming you don't drive, Richard, because anyone who does have a bloody driving license would know this, coming from a fat old cretin who doesn't leave his bedroom often by the looks of him. It doesn't surprise me much. So you see, he's very angry now. I'm a fat old cretin now. Remember, it was Rich, and you're a smart guy, and fat old cretin now, of course. Fat old cretin now that he's had to read Wikipedia and had actual facts injected into his brain. And yes, this is another example of a gammon. Well done, chat. And then, this is it. This is where it all comes tumbling out. This is where what he wanted to say, he's so frustrated now. He goes, oh, fuck it, I'll just say the outrageous racist stuff. Right? So here we go. Oh, so yeah, he added on, he edited it. He went back and edited it in. That's what happened. And just to add on top, the police in the UK, and I'm assuming every other first world country, oh, it's coming. Oh, Lord, it's coming. Every other first world country on the planet, usually 99% of the time, asks you to turn your engine off, which really isn't a difficult thing to do. I mean, maybe if you're shit scared because you've got a gun in your face and you've got police attacking you, maybe it is a difficult thing to do, but I'm sure you would manage it, mate. Anyway, if you understand how to operate a vehicle, I approve of the police's actions because this kid broke multiple laws. You're going to bring up a really pleasant generation if none of the actions have any consequences. Look at London. Here we go. Full of gangs. Full of gangs causing havoc. on a daily basis, open-air drug dealing all over the place, children stabbing each other on a daily basis, but nah, stop and search is racist. I mean, it is when certain races are disproportionately affected by it, yeah. In fact, multiple investigations into the Metropolitan Police's use of stop and search has concluded that statistically it was racist and a form of racial profiling, which is why we don't do it anymore. But okay, let's go on. Even though it's majority black people killing one another. And there it is, guys. They're really easy to spot. They're really easy to spot the whole time. Just ignore the facts, Richard, like every other left-wing dickhead does. Just like you say, we ruined Africa. Bro, when we turned up, it wasn't a prospering nation. They were literally still engaging in tribal warfare, for fuck's sake, living in the Stone Age, same as the South in America. They didn't come to us, did they? We went there first, because they were behind us technologically. You just seem to have an extreme hard-on for hating Western countries. Now remember, that racist outburst that he's just engaged in public, it is all just because I said, maybe that 17-year-old didn't deserve to get shot. And there it is. And you can see, fuck off, racist. Thank. And then I blocked him from the channel. Like, actually insane. But that's how little it takes. That's how little it takes. Like when these gammony scumbags are just kind of like waddling around in society, they're just, everything makes me angry. God, it used to be great back in my parents' day. Probably I wasn't there, obviously, but that's what I've been told. And I'm definitely sure I know who's to blame. It's everyone but me and my immediate friends and my immediate family and my immediate religious group. It's everybody else. It's bloody everybody else's fault. It's like, holy fucking shit, dude. I can't even imagine being so, like, fucked in the brain to think like this. Like, you know, the comments about Africa are a classic. Like, yeah, you know, we fixed Africa. Yeah, they're doing it. We really elevated what was going on over there when we just carved it up between, you know, the colonial nations by literally drawing borders that didn't exist until we got there. Yeah, we did a great job. The West did a fantastic job there. So there you go. They walk among us too. The Gammons, they're out there. It's staggering. Next, let's do a funny one. This is from a while ago. This is somebody who obviously likes my content. I did a video called Esports A New Hope. Esports A New Hope was about how streamers were now coming in, buying esports properties with all the money they'd made from streaming, and we're going to run them as businesses, including things like Kick, which, as I've said multiple times, it's certainly a platform that has issues, but it's good. Anything that lights a fire under Twitch's arse is a good thing. Right? Anything that can empower negotiations is a good thing. So anyway, he seemed happy at first. He went, wow, esports new wave! Exclamation points. I think he thought this was going to be a fun video he agreed with. And then he went, just a few moments later, he went, Kick, oh no, Sag. Unfortunately, he doesn't know how the average reality works. I don't even know what that comment means. But I think he is... I don't know. I don't even think I said anything about being sympathetic with Kick. I just said pretty much what I said. It's a good thing that it exists. Then, unfortunately, he was literally live blogging the video in the comment section. There was a ton of other ones I didn't get because they got auto-deleted. But anyway, here it is, 1947. Imagine streamers getting paid by the hour according to a specific hourly formula, as if it's something revolutionary. I can't take it up. I can't. I never said it was revolutionary. Nowhere. I don't think I really used the word revolutionary in my fucking everyday, lexicon. It's just not there, is it? I don't say it all the time. Anyway, the harsh truth is that Kick gambling betting sponsorship will dry up really fast in the next 3 years. That, or it will become the next best thing when it comes to cave-dwelling streamers. And I think that little bit there said that some will leave or something. Again, don't recall seeing anything different, but thank you. And then the final accusation. Honestly, trying to disguise this video as something related to actual esports talk to just serve as an ad for Kick is just low, man. Sorry, if you don't like what you're doing, just fuck off instead of using your video as a fucking ad platform. I would honestly be ashamed of making this shit. So me just saying, it's a pretty good idea to have multiple platforms. So, choice is good. It empowers people. You can get better pay, No, apparently it was all a secret ad. It was all, my video was a secret ad for Kick, a streaming platform I don't use. And I don't think I've ever written about it. I mean, probably would have been a good idea to put in some sort of referral code or something. But yeah, this guy watched that video. It's like 45 minutes long, live blogging it, and got more and more progressively angry to the point where he concluded it was a secret advertisement for Kick the whole time. And I'm a shill that should be embarrassed at my secret advertising. All right, then. Remember when I said, listen, guys, Overwatch is really just for the sex weirdos. And all the Overwatch fans said, well, no, that's not true at all, Richard. Richard's being, he's just so bitter. He's so bitter. He blocks everyone in Overwatch. He's so bitter about Overwatch. I don't even know why. What's it ever done? Show me on the doll where Overwatch hurt you, Richard. All of this shit, right? Now, most normal Overwatch fan, right? So this was in the Four Horsemen episode about Overwatch. The thing I disagree with, Richard, is that Overwatch was never targeted for weirdos, but everyone would find a character to like. Buckle up. Widow is blue. Tracer is barely legal. Winston is a monkey. Zarya is an FBB. Reinhardt, I don't know what FBB or MBB is. Is it big booty? Is it female big booty? Male big booty? Bodybuilder? I don't know. I don't know why my brain went to booty. Okay. May is not incredibly fit, etc. Overwatch, right? And then just gonna leave that there. That's just a sentence they've typed. Right? They've gone with Tracer is barely legal as an explanation for why there's no sex weirdos in Overwatch. And I can't, I fucking can't, guys. This is like insane. Like, what an insane thing to type. And yeah, just leave this out in public. I don't think there'll be any problem saying this. This is fine. For fuck's sake. Anyway, and then I think that's, yeah, and listen, everybody wants to have sex with a monkey. Hello? Friend, please, there's an edit button right there. This never had to happen. It's so mental. It is so mental. Anyway, and I've just been informed by Jice head mod, Tracer is 26, of course, so revealing his own fucked up headcanon. I'm saying he, I'm assuming. But anyway, we're just going to move on now and talk about the game. All right, then, why not? I see no problem with those first few sentences at all. So yeah, let's just move on. Overwatch was a game about creativity. LoL was and still is banning creative players. While Overwatch, if the opponent is a better Widowmaker than you change and adapt to not be stuck in a loser's duel. Then your opponent has to adapt now. That was the core of the entire experience. Goats killed that entire experience, and since Overwatch have at least one character that appeals to any one person, there will be porn, and lots of it. Sequel to There Will Be Blood, where Daniel Plainview gets out of prison and becomes a porn magnate, giving a whole new meaning to the phrase, I drink your milkshake. This is so ridiculous. This comment is insane. For real, dudes. Like who types this? I Overwatch fan. Please, are there... Look, seriously, just... If you can, dear Overwatch delegation, I'm going to give you one chance. When this video goes out, if you're an Overwatch fan, just try and type something normal about your game, if you can. I would really appreciate it. But I rest my case, right? The prosecution rests. I'm very comfortable now with everything we've put out there. I am sure the jury will convict. Jeepers. Right, it's just a silly one. Remember how I said it in a previous piece of content? I don't know if Griff will edit it in. He started doing that lately. But I did say that morons like to do gotchas, but what they think is a gotcha isn't a gotcha because they're morons and they can't do gotchas. And I realise I'm saying the word gotcha a lot and it's making you think of Tamagotchis right now because you used to have one as a kid and you always think, what would happen if you put the battery back in? Could you coax it back to life? Well, no, you can't. That one's dead, mate. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone forever. But anyway, with this sudden stance of skepticism for gambling in Counter-Strike, why have you in the past accepted sponsorships from Midnight? Right, so in this video, right? He seems to think I've condemned gambling. Now, we'll say it again. I have no problem with gambling, particularly sports betting. I think enriches the sports viewing experience. I like it. I participate in sports betting. I always have. I grew up around bookies. I went to dog races, horse races, used to go down the track, spend days down there, nursing a warm beer in the rain, ticking boxes, putting £5 bets on, losing all my money, being miserable. It was a fundamental part of life growing up for me. So I have no issue. I have no issue with it. But what I do have issues with is any type of gambling that can't be regulated, any type of gambling that can't be age-gated, any type of gambling that might involve other types of currency that can bypass laws or be used for nefarious activity like money laundering. Midnight was a fully UK compliant and licensed betting platform that sponsored me for a year. Prior to that, I was sponsored by Rivalry, who were a fully UK licensed betting platform. Didn't have any casinos, neither Midnight, no, none of them did that. It was all about sports betting, sports content, and we had them for years. Right? I am the only person who took these sponsorship deals where I interviewed the sponsors rather than the other way around. I made sure they were all compliant. So I've never condemned gambling, by the way. Never. And the mad thing is, this video he's saying that about, let me just play you this clip, right? I'm a man of vices. I don't want kids to gamble. That's fair, right? I don't want gambling to be marketed in a predatory way. That's fair. I don't want gambling to be rigged so people lose without knowing that they lost because it was rigged, and people make, money hand over fist by essentially scamming people and engaging in fraudulent activity. That's fair. Do I think you should be allowed to gamble? Bet on sporting outcomes? Yes. Do I understand that brings a boatload of corruption and problems? Yes. Am I still nominally for it? Yes. That's where I am. That's my moral compass. All the people, gamble bad, gamble bad. Now let me open my loot crate on my favourite video game. I can't take you people seriously, I'm afraid. Right, so that couldn't be clearer, right? That's a 50-second clip where I just don't think I can be clearer. And unfortunately, as I said, this guy thought he was doing an incredible gotcha without even watching the video or listening to the content in the video, which is just typical moronism. Next up, we did have a Russian. A Russian got upset with me because I did mention that Putin has had people killed. We can assume it was him. But right, let's say the Russian state has had people killed with polonium. And there were a couple of comments from Russians. You don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why I'm doing that. I think of the average Russian as being like, Zangief from Street Fighter. I think that's reasonable. But anyway, there was this comment because I said that, basically, it was in a video where I was talking about how, the Russian state does have political dissidents killed, like a lot of tyrannical regimes around the world. And the reply was, yes, that's why Navalny is alive and well. And it's like, okay, look at the one dude that we, imprisoned and fucked with for his entire life but didn't kill. And that's an example of a functional, non-tyrannical society, apparently. And speaking of polonium, can you link me any proof? And it's that's the meme. He actually said the Russian meme line, where is the proofs? He actually said, where is the proofs? Which is great because the reason that that's a meme is because, obviously, you don't get the proofs. You don't get proofs when you live in a regime that controls the free flow of information and censors the internet. It's worse in China. Obviously, it's worse in North Korea, but Russia does these things. Show me the proofs. So he said, can you link me any proof except your UK propaganda? No, well, sorry, I guess you are the one who was brainwashed, right? Definitely. Right, I'm the one who's brainwashed, the person speaking out about tyrannical regimes, including the UK, which is, soft tyranny. Right, I'm the brainwashed one, not the person who doesn't believe the Russian state's had anyone killed with polonium. Now, I did link him to the poisoning of Alexander Litvinenko. which of course is the famous one. Litvinenko was a former spy. He had a meeting with a source and fell ill with flu-like symptoms shortly afterwards, and then they found out he'd been poisoned with polonium. They believed the dispensary was an umbrella tip, I think it was. An umbrella tip to the leg dispensed a pellet of polonium, which killed him horrifically and slowly, and the haunting images of him dying in the UK media were the leading news story for a long period of time. Anyway, I linked that to him, and he didn't reply ever again, nor post on my channel ever again, despite being a sub. That's what that little orange circle means. So, two things. Either I owned him with facts and logic, Ben Shapiro style, right? Or by clicking on that link, he ended up gulagged. You decide. Which, by the way, that would be the final irony, wouldn't it? If it's like, listen, you and your propaganda. You and your propaganda. Have you got any proofs? Yeah, here's the proof. Well, I better have a look at this. Ding, ding, ding. Alarm goes off down his local police station. Say, you're accessing the truths right now. Let's go get them. I don't know why the French in this. My accent's terrible, notoriously. They go get him, and there you go. So, hope rough guy's okay. We agree to disagree on this one. Hope you're all right. Where is the proofs? Oh, fucking hell. But I hope that is the proofs. You might think Wikipedia is UK propaganda, unfortunately. I suppose we can get this out the way. I lurk on the official CSGO subreddit Discord. You may remember, I think we included them on the last episode of You Speak Your Brains, where someone was leading such a healthy and happy life that on Christmas Day, they entered a Discord full of strangers, typed, "Hey, does anyone else here hate Thorin and Richard Lewis?" to try and generate some conversation. And anyway, I've been lurking in there for a while, sort of like soaking up all the stupidity. And it's good because, listen, I have utter contempt for the average esports fan. I think that much is clear right now. It validates that contempt. Is what it does. It basically, I just read what they type about esports and how it all works in their mind, and I go, yep, this is it. It's actually good to be here. It's good to see this. So I want to point this out. This was a conversation that happened, okay? This is when I done my video, The People versus Maui Snake. And they were all in there. Right, they all hate Maui Snake in there because they're the average esports fan. Therefore, they're a pleb. Players can say and do anything. For example, just today, ESL Cologne is recording an official joke about Config, who at one of their events obviously got into a fight, had his leg broke, and they're just joking about that now. Didn't see any DreamHack jokes around the Hell in a Cell, funnily enough. Same company, right? Like, they're all same sensibilities. But no, apparently no. In fact, when a fan asked me to have a picture of me jokingly choking them, and Anders retweeted it, they threatened to never work with Anders ever again at DreamHack, because I can't joke about my act of self-defense, but Config's act of assault is apparently fair game. So yeah, players can do what they want in the eyes of fans, but broadcast talent, there must always be one or two who were just relentlessly attacked until they quit. And then everyone goes, God, I really miss that person. Really miss them so much. I mean, by the way, guys, I've been out of the game now so long, which I know people say, he's washed. And it's like, no, there's no one I can work with because of the Saudi money anymore, unfortunately. But anyway, Beyond the Summit was really the last opportunity to do event with people I like. But anyway, obviously, of course, they've even got to a stage now where I'm looking at like HLTV threads and looking at Reddit threads, and they're actually saying, oh, Miss Richard Lewis and Thorin, those desks were fire. It's like we've actually got to that point now, guys. It took like, since the last one, 2 years. But we're actually at that point where, because me and Duncan haven't done any desks, people are saying positive things about our desk. Fucking never thought I would see that as long as I live. But it just shows how meaningless and ephemeral every opinion expressed by an esports fan is. Anyway, this is you can see Darkstar. What the other thing they love to do is put these funny jokes in their usernames on the Discord. You can see Cadian hater. Yeah, I hate Cadian. I hate Cadian. Yeah, really hate him. Lovely guy, like really nice guy. I hate him. Why do you hate him? Cheater, isn't he? No, in fact, objectively, that's been disproven it was Hunden all along. Yeah, I hate him. So who actually cars, because that's the other funny joke they do in the CSC, HLTV, because a lot of the threads are made in broken English because it's not native English speakers. Who cars is an HLTV meme, which I'm sure they'll turn into a podcast at some point like they used to do with the HLTV confirmed meme. There'll be another vector for Sponge to get the bag, and they'll be doing a podcast, Who Cars with Sponge. Maybe he'll be driving a car in it, who even knows? Bought for him by a Saudi prince, which he'll gratefully accept. Who cars? Anyway, who actually cars about analyst drama? Most of them are useless anyway. Rostomania, please. And then this is the person who actually spent Christmas Day saying, anyone here hate Richard Lewis and Thorin? Did somebody say a perfect game? Came into the Discord on Christmas Day and said all analysts are useless. Every game should just be cast by Sponge and Machine. Again, brain dead, doesn't know the difference between an analyst and a caster, or some random guy they found in the venue. Right, now, you're going to be, Richard, why have you shown me that? I mean, it's they're bad opinions on their face. But remember, these are the people who said analysts are useless. So, okay, analysts are useless. Same person, of course, saying analysts are useless. Regali isn't an AWPer. Is he? Didn't he stand in for Dexter, and hence the classic meme about OG don't be sick? Mantu had to skip a tournament and was benched. Oh shit, he is an AWPer. So, same person who thinks analysts are useless can't even tell you whether someone uses an AWP or a fucking rifle. I mean, you know, we're dealing with some real, like, high-level thinkers about the game here. Incredible scenes. Also, from the Discord, I recently did a piece of satire. Very clear and obvious satire. I thought it was pretty broad, and I put it out there called, How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bag. Basically a condemnation of all the people taking money from Saudi Arabia and morally justifying it after grandstanding every year in June for Pride Month and a variety of other causes when, of course, they don't care. This individual, right, said, I honestly thought RL was a sellout for Saudi money until the URL part, right? Which, if you read the article, that means that I basically said I was working the Khashoggi Masters. This guy saw the Khashoggi Masters joke and went, yeah, Richard is a sellout. He's done it. He's doing the Khashoggi Masters. So I'm in that chat, remember? So I said to him, that means you thought the Khashoggi Masters was a real event. Or mega lol. I never use a mega lol, me. But this was a time for an omega lol. And he goes, I thought it was that Gamers 8 tournament. Oh, for fuck's sake. Imagine it. Imagine getting that wrong. To be fair, at least he understood that the Uyghur Re-Education League isn't real. So good for him. Let's get the Substack stuff out the way. We've been doing really well over on the Substack. We're up to 6,000 subscribers, over 1,000 of those being paying subscribers. 45% of those subs open everything that I post. Pretty good, right? That'll come in relevant a little bit later on. But unfortunately, it is another vector for idiocy. This was a classic, right? This is from Artem Beer, a great name, by the way. I wrote an article called, Does Biden's Mind Have 4 More Years? And, of course, no, it doesn't. But, it's actually interesting. He's going to get political now. Don't worry. There's a politics podcast coming, which I'm going to start, because there's so much stuff to talk about, and it's so hard to research and script an episode of Enemy of the People in a timely fashion. I need an esports gospel equivalent for politics that will be behind a paywall, so we're going to do that. So you're going to get more value for your money on the Substack. Griff's doing the branding now. Working title is In the Belly of the Beast, so it should be good. Anyway, he said, not what I signed up for. Made a mistake by signing up to support esports coverage, not political ramblings that are supported with Daily Mail and Fox News. Now, keep in mind, I don't think it's a partisan issue to say Joe Biden's brain is melting. I don't think it's a partisan issue at all. It wasn't a partisan article. The article itself criticized Trump repeatedly, as I point out in a moment. It's just that, look, we had Mitch McConnell literally freeze up today. I don't know if you've seen this clip. Mitch McConnell was talking. Mitch McConnell's in his 80s. And Mitch McConnell was talking, and his brain stopped working. He couldn't speak anymore. And he had to be wheeled away. And he looked scared and confused. It could have been a stroke. It could have been a seizure. Anyway, naturally, the DNC media are all over that. You know, oh, Mitch McConnell, oh, yeah. Is he fit to do his job? We should get rid of him. If that had happened to Joe Biden, no one would say anything about it. They just wouldn't. It would just be another day. And by the way, that happens to Joe Biden all the time. So I don't see it as a partisan issue to say there needs to be term limits and we need to get these old fucking mummies out of, like, Congress because they cling on to power until they literally die in office. Like, it's, you know, Dianne Feinstein, for fuck's sake. Like, is she even there? I don't know, like. But anyway, Joe Biden's brain doesn't have 4 more years. It's as simple as that to me. Not to mention, he's mired in political scandal. And we're getting to a stage where it's like, is the juice worth the squeeze on Joe Biden? I would say absolutely not if you're a Democrat, but whatever. But pointing out that Joe Biden isn't a sainted, lovely old man who smells of rich oak and vanilla is actually a crime in the eyes of many shit libs. So what are you going to do? Anyway, he said, not what I signed up for. Now, literally on the front page of my Substack, it says, sports, esports, and politics free from the tiresome spin and bullshit. He was a signed-up member. He literally signed up for this. There's no two ways about it. He absolutely signed up for this. 100% of the time. Sports, esports, politics. Do you want to sign up to this? He clicked yes. He signed up for this. So I pointed that out to him. There is no point to argue here. I agree, because you literally did sign up for this. I respect you as a journalist, but I don't care for your political opinion, the outrageous opinion that maybe Biden isn't 100% fit for office. I can do both. Yeah, but you quite literally signed up for sports, esports, and politics free from the tiresome spin and bullshit. I also strongly doubt you read the article, given you're comparing it to right-wing media and yet several paragraphs critical of Trump as a candidate. Oh, well, guess I'll have to cope without you. See you, buddy. And then he said, I guess I joined during the drought of political writing and abundance of esports content. Maybe I just have selective attention and didn't notice politics until I disagreed with your take. There's a ton of political articles on this website, by the way. Literally signed up for it, said he didn't sign up for it. And then get this little component. When you unsubscribe, you can leave feedback. And he said, after reading your political writing, I can't trust your reporting. There you go, guys. If you notice that Joe Biden is fucked in the feed, you're obviously a liar. So fair enough, dude. Super cool that you impugn my entire reputation because you think Joe Biden's fit for office. Now, he isn't even the biggest Biden appreciator on the website. I want to introduce you to a chap known simply as Nick. This was his first comment. This was on an article, Network News and the Wannabe Dictators. And what this was pointing out the hypocrisy in the approach to Fox News. Basically, someone who used to work on Tucker Carlson's show, right? And all the Tucker Carlson staff have basically been fired from Fox News. Tucker Carlson said some crazy shit about Dominion voting systems. You remember all that, the Kraken nonsense about how they rigged the election. They didn't. They just did super efficient ballot harvesting, which is legal in most states. That's all that happened in that election. The COVID changes allowed for greater ballot harvesting. The Dems did it. The Republicans didn't. It's that simple. There's the mystery, right? There's your Kraken. Okay, that's what happened. But whatever. Anyway, Tucker Carlson uncritically repeated that on Fox News. Dominion Systems sued Fox News. They got something like $760 million in a payout. It's one of the largest of its kind in the world in history. And obviously after that, Tucker Carlson was a little bit in the doghouse at the network. They wanted him to tighten up behind the scenes. He didn't want to do that. He ends up leaving Fox News. And then his staff basically are fighting some sort of like guerrilla warfare from within Fox News. And they put up a chyron that basically called Biden a wannabe dictator. It was like, wannabe dictator has political opponent arrested, right? Because that was when Trump had just been indicted. So anyway, I wrote about that, saying, it's weird, isn't it? Because the media are saying it's outrageous to call Joe Biden a dictator, yet Trump must have been compared to Hitler every single weekend for the entirety of his presidency and indeed his candidacy, right? So why do we do this? And so I drew the comparisons and pointed out the hypocrisy, which is what I do. Remember, I'm not picking a side in the argument. I don't like the American monoparty. I don't like the way that Washington operates. It's not about Democrats and Republicans for me. It's about we exist in a time where, remember, I was vehemently anti-Bush, But the media around that time basically decided to throw their cards in with the Obama-era Democrats, and now you have state propaganda in America. It's as simple as that, and that's wrong. You deserve to have the truth. I don't give a fuck whether it's Republicans doing it, Democrats doing it, anyone doing it. You shouldn't be having corporate influence, state propaganda, posing as independent journalism in any country. It's just as simple as that. So that's all the article's about. Now, for Nick, Joe Biden stan, right? Joe Biden's number one fan. He just completely went past the article to say nonsensical things. So here it is. Whatever. So Biden isn't a saint. Nobody expected or said so. But he's not a COVID denier. So he's talking about Trump here. Trump wasn't a COVID denier. Trump did Operation Warp Speed. He was the one that didn't deny COVID. He put in a special program to get the vaccine super quick, which is really weird because right-wing people exist in this quantum state of vaccines are bad. Oh, well, Trump's handling of the COVID pandemic was bad, but Trump did Operation Warp Speed. What, so those vaccines you're saying are bad? And then the form just starts coming out, you know? Anyway, but he's not a COVID denier. I also can't help but notice he didn't shut down the virus and killed about 1 million people by doing nothing or more. Interestingly enough, Trump didn't do nothing and more people have died while Biden's been in office from COVID. But again, facts don't matter. He didn't abolish Medicare. He didn't try to make the rich more rich. Notorious man of the people, Joe Biden, and the poor people more poor. He's not a narcissist, notorious non-narcissist Joe Biden, who's materially misrepresented his expertise and excellence throughout his entire career, told a bunch of fucking stories about having smuggled himself into the country to meet Nelson Mandela and all that. I can continue this list. So if this is pest versus cholera debate, Biden is much less a pest than Trump is. Nobody should forget that. Good article otherwise. Now here we go. We're going to keep going though. Two more. He didn't try to abolish democracy. Trump never tried to abolish democracy. I won't get into the constitutional republic argument. That's really boring and tedious. By undermining it. He didn't disrespect the veterans, the military, and lied about being a veteran. Trump has never lied about being a veteran. In fact, quite publicly, he's been stung over and over and over again by the media for not being a veteran. Because remember, he didn't enlist because of his bone spurs, like a lot of wealthy people did. So crazy to even bring that up. That just objectively never happened. He also, the one thing about him disrespecting the veterans is a now debunked, clearly false story in The Atlantic that said when visiting a grave on Remembrance Day, he called them all suckers and losers. Just an anonymous source said that. Definitely happened, of course. He's not a degenerate who talks down to other people. No, Joe Biden's never talked down to anyone. He is the most sainted man ever to have lived. There's so many things Trump did wrong that Biden didn't. Is this really a comparison? And Trump is a racist. Let's not forget that. Unlike old segregationist Joe Biden. Old race jungle Joe Biden. Old 3 strikes, you're in prison, law reform Joe Biden. Yeah, notorious non-racist there. That's some miserable piece of shit who got basically replaced by an old man career politician, someone who's kind of normal and not just a terrible piece of shit. At least Biden is workable as a president, man with provable dementia, while Trump had issues holding on to his secretaries. How many of them quit or were thrown out because it was a shit show? Trump was a disaster, not like Joe Biden, while Biden, with all his mistakes and despite them, is kind of normal. And honestly, he's a nice guy, at least compared to the piece of Trump shit. There you go. Joe Biden is a nice guy. So I didn't know he'd made that comment, like a month ago. And then obviously I did another thing about Joe Biden's brain. And Nick comes back to fucking defend Joe Biden to the death again. Biden is old, maybe too old, but he's still the best candidate they have. The joke's kind of on you. I'd say the joke's on the world, actually, but whatever. You're not American and still obsessed about him. Why? Right? Why is it? Why would you care about what's happening politically in the most important? I'd love to not have to care about American politics. I'd love to live in a country that didn't get touched by it repeatedly. But unfortunately, no, everyone has to deal with America's bullshit. So you have to pay attention. And why is all Twitter saying positive things about him? Yeah, Why, why is no one criticizing Joe Biden? Why is the media so nice to Joe Biden? He must be doing a good job. And you're just touting negative things about him. Yes. Are you this ignorant? Rhetorical question. Fact is, he's a more successful president than all of the priors who served in the last 25 years. Why not judge someone on his performance? I am. I most certainly am. No, instead, you're obsessed with his alleged health being too bad. Can't walk up a flight of stairs. They've literally had to shorten the staircase to the plane because he physically keeps falling over, and it's just embarrassing that it happens every week. But I'm sure this is fine. He's running for re-election, guys. Don't worry about it. And focusing on the wrong things. Attacking his weak points. Why would I ever do that? Sorry, man. This article is more than cringe. Your esports are solid and keep me here, but if this happens too many times, presumably criticising Joe Biden, I'm gone. Nonetheless, it's funny you cited an article for groping Eva Longoria that didn't even agree with you, nor instead telling a story of it was nothing and surely no groping. Right, now, by the way, in the article, it specifically says the media chose to ignore what he did. And so I linked the article as proof of that. And he goes, yeah, and the article says it wasn't even groping. Yeah, that's kind of the point, mate. This tells me you simply hate the guy. And you're making up things as you go. There's not one thing you can refute in that article, by the way. It's all verified for your own personal agenda. At least you're not a Trumpist. That would be the next lower level after this. And so he then got into an argument in the comments where someone told him he was a Muppet. And he called someone a twink as an insult. The only Muppet in here who can fuck off is yourself, twink. I never told him what to write, but it's my right to criticise him for his opinion. So, Jace, with Kekkonen in his profile pic, the political hero of our times, of course, said, quick question, did you read his Substack profile tagline on what the content is? And he points out the same thing that we do. And then he goes, are you his lawyer? I'll do whatever I want. Stop telling me what to do. Goodbye. Pathetic. Maybe learn to address the argument instead of going into some childish defence mode. And then somebody points out so people can tell you what to do. Can't tell you what to do, but you can tell Rich what to do. How big of a fucking idiot do you have to be not to see the double standard? And so anyway, he carried on arguing in there. It's pretty ridiculous. You can go and see it for yourself if you want to read that article over what is a pretty milquetoast article. Like, you can't ignore what's wrong with Joe Biden. I just don't understand it. I don't understand how that would make me right-wing in any way, shape, or form to say this elderly candidate is showing clear and obvious signs of age-related decline. There you go. I nearly forgot as well, when I was doing the Discord, I should have done this. But anyway, so something that happened in the Discord was when people realised the person with my profile pic was actually me and not a fan, there's like a group of like real hardcore losers in there. You know the type. They can only communicate in like 5 or 6 sentences, whatever the 5 or 6 like popular Zoomer sentences are at the time. So they only say things like, let him cook. Who let them cook? Oh, who let bro cook? Crying skull emoji. Like all of those people, like, you know. There isn't a crying skull emoji, but there should be. So anyway, there is there? Okay, good, excellent, we need that. Right, anyway, and then the other thing that they say is, for real, oh yeah, they call everyone little bro as an insult. When they have to communicate an idea that's bigger than a sentence and they can't do it, their brains don't allow them, they go on the internet and they get a football quote image of like Mbappe saying something, or a basketball player saying something, or Mourinho saying something, and they post that, and that's how they talk. And these people don't like me. I can't think why. You know, I'm sure there's very good, valid reasons for it. It's definitely nothing to do with the fact that I can string sentences together that hurts their brain to read. But anyway, there was one guy in there who was like basically pestering me and saying shit things about me. And then realised it was me, and then turned around and said, oh, wow, you're my favourite journalist. I didn't know it was you. It's cool to meet you and everything. And then proceeded to like try and be nice and butter me up. And so he did this cringe copy pasta. I don't even understand why you would type all this out, right? Now that I think of it, he is right, though. And quite shamefully, I only even reconsidered mine and his messages because I found out he was Richard Lewis rather than taking a user statement seriously in the first place. So much Twitter shits and giggles, as well as selective articles chosen by corrupt higher-ups, has caused CS fans, such as me, to become distracted, not recognise the real threats and shady shit that are actively harming the scene. Basically, he's speaking on behalf of all Zoomer CS fans here, saying, yeah, we are all morons. I'm about it. Great. To become distracted, not recognise the real threats and shady shit that are actively harming the scene, as the true extent of match fixing and disgusting crimes mentioned by Hyper, committed by pros that are forgotten about because it isn't on the surface, and that the average CS fan, needs some punctuation this really, that the average CS fan would rather care about what idiotic shit Thorin said today. It's nice having a person like Richard Lewis doing his best to show the dark side of the scene, and with such determination, not deterred by defamation of those guilty, nor the ignorance of the unenlightened masses, still fighting for a better Counter-Strike and to an extent esports scene for everyone. And so my response to that was just to type, that's fucking cringe. What a shit copy pasta that is, right? And just leave it there. And that really upset the Zoomer. It really upset him. And so he then started to just basically insult me non-stop, and the mods noticed it. And first they took away his status. They have this status on there called regular, right? Where if you've been there, you have to get the criteria. You have to be on the Discord 3 months and type 5,000 messages. And if you've done that, you get to be a regular. I don't think I've ever typed 5,000 things on Discord. So anyway, they sit in a special group, and he was one of them. And they all cunt me off in there where I can't see it. And so anyway, he got banned for he got that took away from him, and then he got banned for 24 hours, and now he hates me, and he's super sad. And I haven't even seen him on the Discord, except if I do type anything, he will immediately reply with, I can hear the sound of wind blowing. Absolutely fucking owned. In his head rent-free for the rest of his life, I guess. Back to the Overwatch responses. Some weirdo on the Overwatch. Get this. Every time, because I did a ton of content around it, and obviously, like, the Four Horsemen episode found its way over there. The competitive Overwatch subreddit, whenever they post anything about me, they have to put a special warning in. Don't talk about Richard Lewis, just talk about his opinions. It's so funny. Like, everywhere I go, there's always, like, got to be, like, some special rule. Oh, the Richard Lewis guy. Wow, what will we do with his dastardly Richard Lewis? It's just crazy. I don't know, like, maybe just don't be mental. So, anyway, this person posted, Richard Lewis's argument, or was, he wanted, right, this was about this clip that I had, the one that I put in, you know, it's quite famous, you know, it was a Blitz Esports interview in, like, 2017, where I basically said, like, it's going to fail, and this is why, and these are the problems with the league, and it's all come true, and it's all prescient, and it's really funny, because actually, I might show you some of the comments on that video from the time it was compared to where it is now. But anyway, so this is one of the regulars who can't stop talking about me on the competitive Overwatch subreddit. He said, Richard Lewis's argument was always that the Overwatch League would die and drive investments away from esports at large. Esports investment dried up before the Overwatch League died, so he wasn't even right. I also think he would agree, but never admit, that the league lasted 3 to 4 years than he thought it would. Not only have I admitted that, I have publicly said it's a result of COVID. So I've even explained why I believe that, but okay. He's also an unemployable asshole who hasn't worked in actual esports in years, right? Keep in mind, it was this year I quit my job at Deserto as an editor in large to go independent. And this is Goliath Farser, who likes my content, and he's like one of the holdouts on the competitive Overwatch subreddit who's always posting my content and stuff. And he said, blah, blah, I agree. No. Somebody comes in and says, like, the guy literally worked the 2021 CSGO major, and he said he would never work with the Saudis or Blizzard, and he stayed true to his word. And the guy goes, oh, wow, it's almost like 2021 was years ago. His dedication to remaining unemployed by the dozen other esports games that aren't run by the Saudis or Blizzard is impressive, though, I'll give you that. By the way, what game can I go and work where there's no Activision Blizzard, Riot Games, Chinese or Saudi influence in esports? Anyone? Anyone got any suggestion? FIFA? No, not even. Did you not see the big drama over the penalty shootout? Rocket League completely is they're at Gamers 8. Farm Simulator would be good. I'd like that. FGC, they love Saudi money now, so it's ridiculous. Anyway, then he replies, the guy literally doesn't want to be employed anymore. He has his Substack and Twitch channel printing out cash for him. Why bother with esports anymore where fans like you take every opportunity to slander him without even bothering to check facts? And so we get to the follow-up. Don't worry, the guy's got material. Printing money, lol. Some people will believe anything, I guess. I think printing money probably is an exaggeration, but whatever. And morons like you will believe whatever made-up version of a stranger that you don't know on the internet. You literally can see his earnings from Twitch in 2020 due to the leaks. But of course, you couldn't be bothered to do simple research. Not to mention the video of the interview was done when he was literally working on American television. You should hide your burner better, Richard. So he's doing that thing where anybody who defends me is me on Reddit. By the way, I've got like a ton of burners. Like, I fuck with people all the time. And now I just see like everyone's accounts like from my Discord. You're Richard, he's Richard, this is Richard. Richard's in the chat right now. Yeah. Like, basically, I'm just, again, like just a fucking, I'm like Sting. Vintage era WCW. I'm in the rafters. You never know when I'm coming down, right? I'm just so ridiculous. And the funny thing is, whenever someone starts saying, I've got you, you're Richard Lewis, and it's not me, right? It's not my account. Like, this is not my account. What then happens is they report it to the admins, and the admins, because they can't even be asked anymore, they just ban those accounts. Like, that dude's account will get suspended. It's so crazy. Anyway, those leaks told us you made $113,000 from August 2019 to October 2021. That's hardly printing money, my friend. That's much closer to minimum wage. So he thinks over $55,000 a year is minimum wage. Interesting, but it's not in America. But anyway. Also, what he hasn't factored in is, because he so desperately wants me to be poor for some reason, is that I was working, in 2019, I was working at WSOE for $250,000 annually. That was my salary. And streaming has always been a side gig. It's never been the main way I make my money. After that, I went full-time with Deserto, where I wasn't making six figures at Deserto, but I was making high double. So, I don't know, like, it's really weird. Not to mention all the freelance writing, the YouTube. It's so strange that, like, people want to believe that, like, oh, he's living dirt poor, he's got no cash. It's like, yeah, listen, I didn't get the bag. I didn't sell out for the bag. I'm not disputing that, but I've done okay. So it's weird you want to believe otherwise. But anyway, also, not sure what TV you watch, but Blitz Esports has never been broadcast on TV here in America. This idiot doesn't even know what E-League is. Doesn't understand that I was working E-League in 2017. Also on a six-figure salary. So he thinks Blitz Esports, that interview, he thinks that guy's trying to say Blitz Esports is a TV show. So just a fucking brain dead. But hey, maybe being right about the Overwatch League will lead you to a stable income someday soon. Are you stupid? Did you not see the E-League labels behind him in the video? Guy was literally working at Turner and was on the same broadcast with Shaq multiple times. Then he goes, if you think an interview conducted by Blitz Esports from the set of E-League back in 2018 is some sort of indication that Richard Lewis, nothing he said, has had any sort of success in recent years, then you might be dumber than I originally thought. You not getting my joke about being Richard kind of confirms it, though. It wasn't a joke. You literally just started talking to a stranger as if it was me. Probably because you are deeply unwell, and I hope you do get some help. I'll get these little ones out the way. Again, another example of when an idiot tries to do a gotcha. I do find it really funny that Richard will call Redditors fucking dumb and the worst of the worst, yet take them seriously, laughing my fucking ass off. I know his dumb ass explains it away with wanting to sling mud, but he's literally beside them as a brain-dead person. But at the end of the day, this means nothing, and it's literally just worthless content. So I can't blame him. He literally did just blame me, didn't he? I mean, that's very blaming. So I asked him, are you trying to imply that everyone on Reddit isn't making serious comments? Because like the people on Reddit are saying things seriously. Like they believe it. And everyone who posts on Reddit is just trolling? Is that the theory? And of course, he's gone. He's disappeared again. He's disappeared into the stupid ether, the moronic ether. never to elaborate on these ridiculous things that he said or claimed, which is fine, I guess. Also, from HLTV, they also didn't understand the Saudi Arabian article was satire. And in it, I make a joke about, like, saying, oh, it's totally safe to go to Saudi now, right? It's totally safe. It's totally cool, yeah? We can all go to Riyadh and have a good time, be out and proud, rainbow flags, yeah? Yeah, women can, just go out and dress immodestly or whatever the terminology is that they... It's all fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, someone took that joke seriously, and you can see here. Now that RL will be out there in Saudi Arabia, I think I'll finally visit. Anyone know where the best place to stay is if you're queer, looking for a Saudi equivalent of Soho, right? Which is brilliant. That's like a really funny joke. Well done, Lizzie QQ. Somebody replies, prison once the police get you. Don't be fooled by RL saying Saudi is fine. Police will do what they want. Now, of course, Richard Lewis, notorious for saying Saudi is fine, of course. But chat, don't be fooled. Whatever you do, don't be fooled about what I'm saying, because it's not fine. Basically, in that article, I said GG, but it was not GG. It was a BG. That's basically what happened there. And that was pretty much too sophisticated. Too sophisticated for everyone. I think this is the last one. So, again, on the CSGO role article, the skin cells came out and they got upset. Again, all the things I said were pretty clear and obvious. And, it wasn't meant to be a high-level look at how gambling works. It was just literally more about the current story that had been playing out on social media. That's all it was. Somebody, a skin cell, I guess, decided to come in and try and act like Billy Big Bollocks and pretend they were like an authoritative expert on the thing that I said anyway. So here we go. This is an example of when morons think they are not morons, I guess. Brah, stop talking shit about the gambling industry if you are not educated. There are legal, grey, and illegal gambling operators. The differences between the three are massive. I can give you a free 15-minute interview if you need. And so obviously, right, you're like, I don't know why I would interview some pleb about this. But I did say that in the video. You remember that clip from earlier, right? When I said, like, I want age-gated, age-appropriate, regulated gambling. I did point out the fundamental differences of what I was talking about. And so I point that out to him. I literally point those differences out in the video. And he said, pretty bad job from my POV. Well, I mean, probably because the video isn't about that. It's about a very specific situation with two companies, which the title explains that. The thumbnail explains that. If for some reason you only look at the thumbnail. But anyway, he goes, pretty bad job from my point of view. However, due to the fact that in 2 scrolls, I did not see anybody else complain, this means this is the level of education targeted and desired, and thus, my bad, brah. Everything good, brah. Hashtag failed society. What happened to society when everybody knew the differences between regulated, non-regulated, and grey area gambling? I point out you don't really get to talk about people's level of education when you couldn't even correctly process the information in this video. He says, don't be delusional. The effort made in research and explanation is dreadful. Remember, the video isn't about what he wants it to be about. It's about something else. So it's like he's literally getting upset. It's like he may as well be saying, like, you didn't explain the plot of The Little Mermaid in this video. And it's like, it's not about that. Yeah, but you've made no effort to explain the plot of The Little Mermaid. That's like basically the level he's at right now. By the way, Griff, if you want to insert that really annoying song from that Awkwafina thing where she's playing a pelican, that would be great. That will really annoy everyone and end the video on a bad note. Just a thought.
Remember the swamp? Remember my song in the swamp when I was like, whap, chicka, whap, whap, chicka, whap.
Anyway, the effort made in research and explanation is dreadful. I can say that as I have worked in the field for about 12 years, but I'm also not a fake internet troll hater. As you can see, this is my real identity. For clarity, if I did not make myself clear, so for clarity, your take on operations and gambling or the website is pleb level, and no, this is not a jab to anybody, it's like factual. Thus nothing to proceed really from an information POV. As I stated above, Even the fact that nobody in the comment section did not challenge what you said, because there's nothing to challenge, it's just not about the thing you want it to be about, inclined me to believe this is the education level desired to be transmitted. Personal belief, if you have 1% pride of journalism, you should just do better research into the thing your video isn't about. And then I just say, yep, much education required to point out, as I did, there are legal, grey and illegal gambling operators. Truly, you are on another level in providing such insight. Brah. I should have put brah, but I didn't. Should have put brap and then have an Overwatch fart noise. And with that pretty much is just a broad cross-section of the last few weeks of reaction to my content and just how crazy all the people are. You see, you might think it's fun making content. You might think it's fun getting paid to make content. But there is a downside. There's a dark and sinister world of morons and skin cells and other crazy people that just say stupid things that break your brain.